is to equip us as we step into this week with an attitude, a mental capacity, so to speak, where we're going to show up and be able to take advantage of this week's opportunities, right? Again, for those of us that are just joining us and do not know who I am, my name is David Gibson, also known as D1 Gibson. I appreciate you all tapping in during today's conversation. Now, topic of discussion: the psychology of success. To begin the conversation, comment below if you would, please, family. Perspective, perspective, perspective. Perspective is key. We talk about this continuously during our broadcast because I believe in the power of perspective. Your perspective can either be the reason why you feel stuck, or it could be the key to your progress. It carries that much power. And I believe to truly leverage its power, we have to show up with an effective perspective so we can continue again to visualize opportunities, take advantage of opportunities, and build momentum towards what we're aiming to experience in our life. Now, I can recall in a chapter of my life where I found myself in a perpetual depressive state. One mistake that I frequently made, and I believe this is common amongst leaders and individuals that are aiming to improve the quality of their life. But nonetheless, one mistake that I would frequently make is to operate with the thought pattern and the mindset where I assumed in order for life to get better, right? In order for me to feel better and things to change, something in my life needs to improve. To be more specific, right? We often assume, hey, if only I had a better job, I'd be happier. If only I made more income or had more money, I'd feel more fulfilled, right? If only I was in a beautiful and a committed relationship, my life would be filled with abundance, right? If only, right? We often have this mindset where we expect something to be different in order for us to feel a certain type of way. And what I've learned to understand on this journey of growth, and as I'm aiming to become the best version of myself, is this, family: a change in your life must start with a change within you. Because we can often spend so much time and waste a lot of energy being upset about our situations and expecting them to change. What I've learned, family, again, is that if nothing changes, nothing is going to change. So, in order for my situation to improve, I have to be the one that improves. In order for my situation or circumstance to be better, I've got to show up in a better fashion. In order for things to be renewed, let's break this down, family, my mindset has to be renewed. In order for me to reinvent my life circumstances and the conditions that I find myself in, I've got to reinvent the way that I show up, beginning right here with my mindset. So today, I want to break down 5 very simple mental shifts that we each can begin to adopt that will assist us in changing the way that we think, changing and improving our perspective. In essence, it's going to help position us for success. Everybody comment below: success, success, success. Now, let me preface this by saying success is not something that we do, right? Like, we don't do success. No, we become successful. In other words, success is an inner process of becoming, meaning we must evolve, we must transform, we must create some shifts internally for us to create better outcomes and better results. Which leads us to the very first mindset shift that I want to encourage us to adopt as we step into this week's opportunities. Number 1, lead with optimism. Everybody comment below that statement, in fact, and say that out loud if you would. Lead with optimism. I have written down: give thanks for the unknown blessings that are already on the way, right? Now, I tell many of my clients when they're aiming to transform their life, right? Whether I'm working with them on a one-on-one basis or I'm speaking in front of an organization at an event, it's not enough just to think our way into behaving differently. But in essence, what we want to learn to do is to behave our way into thinking differently, shifting the way that we show up, right? Reinventing the way that we perform, right? Adopting new habits, taking bold steps towards what it is that we want to accomplish. Now, what largely impacts and influences how we behave is ultimately how we feel, right? Emotion is one of the greatest influences on our behavior. So, if you really want to start changing the way that you think, begin with how you feel, right? I tell clients the healing is in the feeling. Meaning, in essence, before you even experience the success, I want you to feel it internally. Before you even experience the better results, I want you to stimulate those emotions right now. Act as if you've already received and accomplished and experienced the very thing that you were visualizing. What this does is it upgrades your emotional state. And again, because emotion is one of the greatest influences on our behavior, if you can prime yourself to be in an empowered state, imagine how you show up to that job interview. Imagine how you show up for that opportunity for your business. Imagine how you show up for your family as a father, as a mother, when you're in an empowered state rather than being overwhelmed or exhausted or anxious or fearful, simply because you adjust how you feel. And in this first mindset shift, what I'm saying is lead into this week with optimism, expecting great things to unfold. What the average person does, we're looking for the negativity. We're expecting the worst out of situations and circumstances, right? But what we want to do as we're being leaders that are becoming success warriors, we're going to become individuals that are redefining possibilities. You have to lead with optimism and understand, hey, I can handle whatever this week throws at me. We're going to make the best out of any situation that life hands us. We're going to rise above any challenge or any difficulties that we're going to experience because we have that built on the inside of us. Lead with optimism. Again, we're only going to scratch the surface on these because we don't have enough time to really unpack them. But I'm hoping you're getting the gist of what I'm saying with that first mindset shift. Lead with optimism. That's number one. Let's get to number two. The second one, comment below. Lead with focus. Lead with focus. We are unlikely to hit a target that we cannot see. So, in essence, as we step into every single day this week, I challenge you to get clear on what you want to experience and what type of person you want to become. That's the game changer, right? Have your mind focused on the vision. And most importantly, decide how you're going to show up. Who are you going to be? Are you going to be a person that's defeated, that feels hopeless, or that feels powerless? Or will you be the type of leader that's resourceful, the type of leader that's full of power, and you're going to leverage that personal power? Are you going to be the type of leader that solves problems and creates solutions to the challenges that you're facing? This starts as you begin your day by you identifying with who it is that you're aiming to become and the experiences that you want to have. Create a mental shift. Yes, some things may have happened last week, right? You may have experienced some setbacks, as Michael talked about, right? The setbacks, the misfortunes, the failures, the temporary defeats. Some things may have popped off last week, right? But adjust your focus and remind yourself of who you are and who you're aiming to become and the experiences that you want to have. Lead with focus. That's number two. Let's get to number three. Man, if we had time, we'd break number three down, family. Okay? Number three, comment below. Lead with courage. Lead with courage. I have here written down. And these are on my Instagram page, by the way. After this broadcast, simply go to @D1Gibson, screenshot them, keep them in mind as you approach this week's opportunities. But nonetheless, number three, lead with courage. Fear and pain should be treated as signals not to close our eyes, but to open them wider. Not to look away and to avoid them, but to look more attentively and to confront them head on. There's a statement that I love, family. And when I first heard this statement, it transformed the way that I approach my fears because it put things in proper perspective. And the statement is, what you fear but never face will always control you. It's going to always control you. And for many of us, right, like you're gifted, you're talented, you have great proficiencies, right? You've skills, you have great talents and things that can open up doors for you. But there's this thing that you keep battling with, whether it's the fear of failure or the fear of success or the fear of change or the fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. And this fear is holding you hostage and you're missing opportunities, right? Like you're largely assuming that, hey, you don't qualify for certain opportunities. But the truth of the matter is, you're allowing your fears to stop you from moving your life forward. And in order for you to transform your life, what you have to do is you have to face and confront those fears. Because until you do, it would always control you and manipulate you and put you in a position where you're stunting your growth and preventing your progress. Keep in mind, family, when we say the intention, the mindset shift that we're going to have this week is leading with courage, understand that courage is not the absence of fear. When I'm saying I'm going to be courageous, that's not to say I won't feel afraid. That's not to say that I won't feel intimidated in certain spaces. But it is to say I refuse to allow those feelings, that are just a little uncomfortable feelings, right, to dictate how I show up. I'm going to feel the fear, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? I'm going to resist the fear. I'm going to navigate through those uncomfortable emotions and find a way to get the job done because I've made the conscious decision. I'm going to lead into this week's opportunities with courage. Keep in mind, family, I'll say this and then we'll get to the next one. Courage ultimately is you not conforming to your circumstances or your environment, right? You're not conforming to what's happening in the world around you. You're not conforming to ultimately what feelings are trying to dictate your life. But when you are leading with courage, you're saying, hey, I see where I want to be. I see what I want to accomplish. I see the life that I want to create. And I refuse to back down because I feel some feelings that are trying to convince me otherwise. I'm going to create the life that I envision, even though it's difficult. I'm still going to step into it with boldness and as a brave leader to redefine the life and that I'm creating for myself. I'm hoping that makes sense. Again, number 3 is lead with courage. Number 4, everybody comment below, lead with intention. This is critical, because we're all big dreamers, right? We all have great goals and things that we're aiming to accomplish. But a lot of times what happens is this, family. We can often dream so big that our goals and our dreams become more intimidating than they are inspirational. Anybody feel that, right? Anybody can relate to that? Where you have this great goal, this big dream, this vision that you have. You're aiming to improve the quality of your life, and it scares you. You're like, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. It seems intimidating. It's overwhelming just thinking about all the things that I need to do in order for me to create this vision that I've created in my mind, right? What we want to do is lead with intention. In other words, think in terms of small steps instead of big ones. Like I mentioned earlier, big steps can intimidate us and can often paralyze our progress. But small steps are more attainable. And keep in mind, one small step leads to another. So as we approach this week's opportunities, I want you to dream big but start small. Break your goal down into manageable tasks that you can begin to perform. Steps that you can take, right? Things that you can begin to execute on that will build momentum towards your goals. Ask yourself that very simple question. How can I break this big goal down into small, manageable, and digestible steps? And every single day you take a step. And if you take a step every single day, eventually you're going to get to where you want to be. But the key and what's critical for us to overcome that overwhelming feeling when we create big goals and dreams is to break that dream down into manageable steps. We do that by leading with intention. Number 5, and then we'll wrap it up, family. Man, if we had time, we'd break this one down too. Comment below. Lead with power. Lead with power, family. I have it written down. Winners look for solutions, and losers look for something or someone else to blame as to why they're not moving forward. In essence, here's what we want to do this week. I challenge you to train your mind to seek out solutions. I think that's worth repeating. Winners look for solutions, while losers look for something or someone else to blame. In my growth newsletter over the weekend, I put out a newsletter where I talked about the importance of us taking full responsibility for our lives. I want us to really reflect on that. In the same way that I asked the question in that growth newsletter, I want to ask that question right now. What areas in your life can you honestly say, I'm not taking full responsibility of? Is it your personal life? Is it your mental health? Is it your professional life? Is it your business? Is it your career? Whatever the case may be, ask yourself that question. What area in my life am I not taking full responsibility of? Because again, we can often point the finger and say, I'm not where I want to be because you didn't believe in me, or you didn't help me, or you didn't support me, right? Or I'm not where I want to be because of where I've grown up, right? The conditions of my life, the circumstances that I found myself in. And as I talked about in that newsletter, right? There's a difference between blame and responsibility, right? Ultimately, you want to own your life, right? You want to have the ability to respond. That's responsibility. Meaning, it doesn't matter what life has thrown at you, right? That may not have been, it may not even be your fault. You may find yourself in a situation where you're like, man, I was born into these circumstances. I get that, right? But it's not for us to be in a position where we're saying, hey, I'm not where I want to be because of this circumstance or situation. At some point in time, we have to hold ourselves responsible for the life that we're aiming to create. In other words, it may not have been your fault, but it is your responsibility. Meaning, I may have been an individual that grew up in poverty, but that doesn't mean I have to stay in poverty. Historically, you're looking at your timeline in your family and you're looking at the things that your family has had to endure. Historically, maybe your family has dealt with, type 2 diabetes, right? Or high cholesterol or hypertension or mental health challenges. And you're saying this is the conditions that we find ourselves in. That may not be your fault, but you got to be the one that says, you know what? The cycle stops with me. I'm going to break this pattern because I'm taking full responsibility for my life. I'm not allowing circumstances or situations or even people to dictate my life experience, right? When I say lead with power, what I'm saying is this: you visualize where you want to be, who you want to become, and you refuse to allow anything to stop you from getting there, right? And the only way we're going to do that is by you owning your mind, owning your life, owning the conditions that you find yourself in, accepting the fact that you are where you are right now. And when you accept it, right, understand there's a difference between accepting and conforming. I can accept the fact that this is where I'm at. I'm getting clear on that. Now I have to make the conscious decision on what I'm going to do to change my life for the better. I've got to make the conscious decision to say, hey, I refuse to allow this circumstance to remain in this same condition. I'm going to take the necessary steps, whether it's I'm going to acquire new levels of education, I'm going to adopt a new mindset, I'm going to create new habits and new patterns, I'm going to change my environment. I refuse to continue to entertain the same old conversations that are unproductive and futile, that don't serve me. I'm not going to surround myself with people that are always complaining about circumstances and situations, but not owning the responsibility to change those circumstances and situations that they're complaining about, right? This is what I mean when I say take full responsibility. It's up to us, right, to make the conscious decision to say, you know what? This is where I am. This is where I find myself. But I refuse to remain here. I'm going to do something different to create a better result. And this is a challenge for so many of us, right? Because most people are anxious to change their situations, but unwilling to change themselves. But in order for us to level up, in order for us to truly experience new levels of success, you have to be willing to break the rules of your historical thinking. You have to be willing to adopt new mindsets, new success practices, new habits, or maybe even a new environment to create the life that you envision. And again, family, we don't get there until we take full responsibility. So as I wrap up this conversation, let me briefly highlight these again. Again, they're on my Instagram page, so be sure to connect with me at D1 Gibson, screenshot them. Let's own these as we step into this week's opportunities and apply them to our life. Number 1 is lead with optimism. Number 2 is lead with focus. Number 3 is lead with courage. Number 4 is lead with intention. And number 5 is lead with power. I'll say this and then we'll wrap it up. This week's opportunities is full of them. You've got many blessings, many great things that have your name on it. But if you approach this new opportunity with the old mindset, you'll miss it. As we talked about on many occasions in the past, old keys are never going to open up new doors. You can't go to that new house and bring your old apartment keys. You can't step into that new career and bring the old patterns and the old habits that you had as your old one, right? That mindset that you had, that job that you really didn't enjoy, and you're trying to step into something new and something greater, but not change anything about yourself. No. In order for us to experience new, we got to be the ones that initiate that process. We got to be the ones that initiate that change. Because, like I mentioned at the top of this conversation, a change in your life, it starts with the change within you. So, what I'm saying is this: the ball is on your court. This week is going to be whatever we make it. Whatever we make it, I challenge you: lead with optimism, lead with focus, lead with intention, lead with power, and lead with intention. With everything that you do, create the game plan, write the vision, make it plain, plan your work, and then you work your plan. And refuse to settle for anything less than what you know you deserve. It's like Nelson Mandela once said, there is no passion in settling for life that's less than the one that you deserve. And for that one that feels uncomfortable, that one that's feeling like you're lacking fulfillment, it may just be because you find yourself settling in different areas of your life. And what I'm saying in this conversation is this: apply these mindset shifts so you can reinvent how you show up and ultimately improve the results and the outcomes that you personally experience. If you slid into this broadcast and I was unable to give you a shout out, be sure to comment below. And if in fact this is your first time, or maybe your first time in a long time, put a number 1 in the chat, then place your first name afterward. I'll be sure to shout you out at some point in time during today's broadcast before we wrap it up. I'm hoping that somebody found some value during today's conversation. If so, put some fist in the comments below. Let me know you were picking up what I was putting down during today's message. Larry Ivy, I see you in the building. Great day to you, brother. Yes, Lena, you got to lead with power. Kate Warren is in the building. Great day to you, sis. Hoping all has been well with you. OG Dreamcatcher in the building. For sure. Excellent. See the fist coming up. For those that did find value, again, please take time out. Share this out with those that you care about. Share this on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then X, formerly known as Twitter. Be sure to share this out, as well as Facebook. You can't forget about those on Facebook. My brother Denzel, salute to you, brother. Hope all is well with you and the fam and the newborn. Excellent. Appreciate you, Nicole. Family, again, if we have yet to connect on other platforms, what are we waiting for? Connect with your boy at D1 Gibson. That includes Instagram, Facebook, again, X, formerly known as Twitter. Got to change that logo at some point in time. But nonetheless, you know what it is. Also, connect with me on the YouTube. That's where all of my long-form content is available. That's youtube.com/David Gibson. And I mentioned during today's conversation my growth newsletter. That and other resources for the free 99 are all available on the website. That's at elevationisAmust.com. As you guys see that there, screenshot that there. So after this broadcast, you can tap into the website and take advantage of all the resources that are available unto you. Be sure to connect. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, family, because you got dreams to catch and success to create. So we got to get busy being great and take advantage of this week's opportunities. Marie, Sacramento, California. I will have to listen to the replay. Glad to have you tapped in live. Again, shout out to all the mothers that are tuning in, whether you're watching this on the live or you're catching this on the replay. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and we're going to continue to celebrate you and honor you for the love that you share, the sacrifices that you make, and all the work that you do for each and every single one of us. We truly appreciate you, all the mothers. Nothing but love. Now, with that being said, let's wrap this thing up. Family, if you find yourself in a difficult situation or a challenging experience, take what we discussed during today's conversation and apply it to your life. If that's not enough, I want to remind you of who you truly are. I understand you may be going through a rough patch in your life right now. I understand you may feel isolated and nobody understands who you are and what you're experiencing. I understand you may feel as if life is hopeless. You feel powerless and your back is up against the wall. But as it gets rougher, I challenge you to get tougher. You may have hit rock bottom. That's the perfect place to build a new foundation. You're in a position right now where you can transform the quality of your life by first and foremost transforming your mindset. So what I want you to do is this. I challenge you to keep pushing yourself. I encourage you to keep persisting until you succeed. Don't you make a permanent decision that's based upon a temporary circumstance. What I've learned from personal experience is this: no storm is going to last forever. Okay? I need you to outwork this storm. I need you to keep pressing, keep pushing, keep digging, keep going, keep moving. Even if it's you just waking up. I know sometimes you might find yourself in a state where it's just hard to even get out of the bed. I want you to keep pushing. Find the strength within, because you are unstoppable when you decide to be. When you make the decision, I refuse to allow this circumstance to get the best of me. I refuse to allow this mindset to overwhelm me, whether it's depression, anxiety, whatever the case may be. I challenge you to keep moving forward. I understand you're going through a tough time. I understand it's very difficult. I need you to understand this, though. Whatever stands in front of you and whatever stands behind you has nothing compared to the power that's at work on the inside of you. You just got to stand up with that power. Leverage your personal power so you can transform your life. And if nobody else tells you that they love you today, remember, your brother from another mother, D1 Gibson, has nothing but love for each and every single one of you. With all of that being said, family, it's Monday. Again, take heed and apply the things that we discussed. The psychology of success. Transform your mindset. Very quickly, again, I want to make sure we get these. Lead with optimism. Lead with focus. Lead with courage. Lead with intention. And most importantly, lead with power, right? In fact, I want you to be effective. Be successful. Live with some passion this week. And like I just mentioned, 3 pounds to your chest, family. 1, 2, 3. Be powerful. And I mean that. I want you to say that with me. Be powerful. Don't be weak. Be strong. Be powerful. And go get everything that has your name on it. We'll be back at it next Monday morning, family. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, peace.
The message loud and clear, I'm gonna make it. I can see my shot is here, so now I'm gonna take it. Gotta get up, get out, time to stand up, get loud, time to rise up off the floor. And I'm stronger than ever now, can't hold me down no more. I'm waking up, 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 I'm waking up. So I'ma do it right now, yeah, I'ma do it right now. I ain't giving up and